Back with me in studio is Agnes Nonsizi. She's a publicist and TV presenter. Now she's gone all blue on me. She's back again. Agnes, thanks for being patient with us. Now, let me ask you, there's a question that is coming through from someone on Twitter. He calls himself Charlo Owen. He's saying, si lazima mwende shows and concerts and your music iskike. At least this time, you won't be doing it for the money. You should do music for the soul. Produce and upload at home. What would you say to someone like Charlo Owen?
So they're saying we should produce music for the soul.
Yes, they're saying that now you can produce music for the soul. So produce and upload at home. You don't have to go to concerts.
So he needs to understand that some of these people do music for a living. Yeah. Fine, passion in ambatana na doing it for a living. But again, fine, I've done music for the soul. And then, will the soul pay my rent? It's the same conversation I usually have with gospel ministers, and I tell them, fine, you're here spreading the gospel, and we have had so many fights with this. But again, if you do not turn that music into business, you're gonna suffer. You're gonna die poor. See what I did there, Trevor? You're gonna die poor, and you're gonna be a frustrated artist. So yes, it's time to do music for the soul. We can do that. We'll do that. We've done that actually. But again. And then in the long run, are we going to do, if this corona continues, are we going to do music for the soul until December? God forbid.
All right. And there's another one here from Engineer Lazaro who says, this time, the time for ambitious artists to change tune. Any artist doing composition of songs with educative messages about COVID-19 will cash in. And we were talking about this earlier on, in a time when music has to be either really good or really bad to sell. And you're saying that the songs that they may need to make have to be sensible in terms of the COVID-19.
Yeah. I don't know whether you've seen a song that PPMC have released. It's in partnership with quite various artists. There's Pitson, there is Evelyn Wanjiro, there is Christine, there is, there is the street boy George, who was the other day salvaged from the streets. So this is an initiative that the Permanent Presidential Music Commission in Kenya has taken. So if you listen to that song, it is it's talking about the real things that we are being told to do. Keep a distance, work from home if you can, So the message needs to be, just don't do just a song because you need to dance into the tunes. If you're doing a song for Corona, by the way, make sure it passes the message. Make sure if I listen to it, if I don't know anything about Corona, I will learn something about the safety precautions that needs to be taken. So yes, songs can be done, but they need to be the right songs and with the right agenda.
Yeah, and that's the right way to head, because now if artists come together and create an awareness about a song, even the millennials will then catch on, because we've seen most people who want to hear the artist say something, somebody they idolize. If they say stay home, maintain social distancing, don't touch your face, clean your hands, will that help so that the artists sort of now at this particular moment come together, all of them, and play a song such that even the media houses would not be able to leave them out, because they are still relevant to the conversation that we're having today?
If anything, if there's a pandemic, if there are people, let me tell you, Trevor, music is powerful. And I think I've had this conversation over and over again. Music is powerful. If you look at the revolutions that have happened across the world over the ages, they happened because music was involved in one way or another. We had people like Femi Kuti who are doing music for revolution. We just don't have to do music when we are in captivity, if I may say, and Babylon, if I may talk such language, But music can be used to change the world if people don't know the power of music. So if you do it with the right, an artist, but then you see that if there are people who have die-hard fans, they're politicians and artists. And of course, right now, our politicians are very quiet. It's so funny. But
you seem quite excited about their silence, Agnes.
Yeah, I don't know where BPI conversations have gone, Even I've been reading these things and I'm like, and it's so annoying. I don't want to go into politics because it's an area that I really try to avoid. But why are you donating a tank with your name on it, with a whole poster? This is our money that you're using. Is it this not the money that the government has put for you to our money? Then you put your name on it. Anyway, as I was saying, if there are people who have a huge following, they are artists and politicians. And because one, politicians are quiet, artists can be able to have such an impact right about now, but they need to be taken care of. If anything, I feel like we take care of the wrong people. I'm so sorry, but they need to be taken care of. And this is the time. This is the time.
Yeah. And so we were coming into the issues of how would enumerate for me the things you would like to see for the government to intervene to sort of cushion the industry right now. You've mentioned the maybe scrapping of the withholding tax. What else would you like to see?
The 5% withholding tax. Yeah. This turnover from 3% to 1%, let it be removed, all of it, you know? Okay. Then that has totally 100% relief on the limited companies that are engaged in art and entertainment, in that when the year 2020 ends, we don't have to remit any tax when it comes to that. Okay. Yeah? Okay. Another thing is there's money that has been allocated to each and every ministry, and if I may think to each and every county right now, if I'm not wrong. Where is the money that has been allocated to the Ministry of Heritage, Culture, and Youth, or all that ministry that the artists fall under, and everybody who is doing anything art related? You know, this is the time to bring that money. Ata kama tutagawana, it's okay. We are not refusing to share. You know, we need a relief fund right about now. Okay. You know, and if there's, because again, we're having this conversation. There's a time you asked me about corporates, and I think that I thought if I can chip this in here, it's about the loans. I know in Kenya, can we get a bank that will partner with, I don't know, even if it's a SACCO, to give the artists loans that are probably interest free? Because in Kenya, like we're saying, banks do not, I don't think they would take content as collateral, but I think this is the time now for MCSK to chip in and tell them. For example, we have artist X. They released an album. This album has given them an amount of money of X. If you give them an amount of money as loan as Y, they can be able to repay. You know, such conversations. It's about time we have that conversation right about now.
But there has to be... Agnes, there has to be interest either way, right? Because then how would the bank survive? Or unless you're saying that the only way it works is that they give the artist the money and then peg their interest on the album's success, which is a very high risk, because should the album not succeed? Yeah, or even the concerts. Yeah.
It is a high risk, I agree, but I believe there's something that can be done even now. And I said, it is if anything, like I said, if you're not going to come out of this corona epidemic in this country with anything, let us streamline our royalty collection, our MCSKs, our it is the time to streamline right now. Yeah. You know? And it's the time artists will be together. It's the time for artists to be united, because the minute, and you know what happens is some make money, some don't make money. But let me tell you, Trevor, you don't know the amount of money that artists can make. I'm telling you, we can, as in they're amongst the richest people, but now they are rich virtually. Not actually rich. So if you're able to streamline this right now, even if you're gonna come out of this corona, tumefirisika kabisa, lakini streamline or whatever, then let it be. Let be it,
All right. Agnes, before I let you go, you know this is the social square. We just talk about things that affect people, even though people don't like to talk about them. How is it working at home? I know you have a young family. There's some people who always look forward to leaving the house so that at least you can have some distance from your spouse for a bit. Now you're all locked in the same area. How is that experience coming out for you?
Well, I don't know. Let's start with now that I had to give a whole, I had to quarantine them in another room and tell them, don't open that door until you hear I say nimemaliza.
So right now you're quarantining them in your own house.
I mean, I keep checking, don't open that, because, you know, and it's one thing, it's good to bond, but first of all, I want to come in and congratulate our teachers and tell them, if I have never said that you work, take it from me. All the mothers in this country are represented by me. Teachers work. This homework is not easy to do. First of all, you know, some of us went through a whole different education system. Are you proving how I don't know how to read to my child? Right now, there's a whole CBC. We are pronouncing letters differently. Ask you to say A, B, C, D. It's a book. I'm like, what?
So your own child is challenging you now. You're like, tomato. The child is like, it's tomato, mom. And you're like, now who's the adult here?
And remember, we all tell them how we were number one in class, you know?
Yeah.
But again...
we were all number one, Agnes. In our days, we were all number one.
We are being challenged that you don't know how to pronounce a potato and a potato and see what. But again, it needs a lot of self-discipline. I've gotten a routine of where I wake up. At least I stretch and skip or work out, because sitting on that couch for a whole God knows how many hours, you're gonna, and I was seeing a whole meme that was going around. Please, sisters, once in a while, put on those jeans, because pajamas and Dara's gonna be lying to you that everything is good in the kingdom, but it's not. So please,
oh, wow.
once in a while, put on the clothes for going to work, just in case you get 2 or 3 or more than that, or you've even lost, because the people in this situation, you never know. So it's not easy. We are really trying. And remember, fathers, you have it easy. Mothers, we have everything in between. Tunakula, and remember now there's a whole skyrocketing on the food budget.
Yeah, and the fridge's door is always being opened every single time.
You yourself, you pass there with like an orange or with some strawberries, Mara is gashai. So it has come. I understand why we go to offices to work.
Yeah, but finally, Agnes, how do you explain to a young child that you can't go out and play because of the COVID-19? That has got to be the hardest part, because now they just think you're playing mean.
At first, it was for me. At first, it had not sunk in until when Tahikagwe, our CS for health, said the next 2 weeks are dire. Stay at home. Do not send your children home for them to go playing out in the streets or in the estates. And at that point, I was like, yo, this is serious. So we had to sit down, and that day I locked the door, and there's no going out. There's corona. There's no going out, there's corona. There's no hugging, there's corona. So you have to be very strict this time. You're not their friend, you're a parent, and you're exercising authority. It's very difficult, because now engaging them is a whole lot of process. And you don't want to be on the devices all along. So you end up, luckily, if you have a printer in the house, or you send to your cyber guy and tell them, print for me, so that they can color, so that they can,